Mike Tyson is one of the best and most feared boxers of all time. He still is the youngest heavyweight champion in history and one of the most recognized faces in the sport. Throughout Tyson's career, he's earned over $400 million. But of course, we all know that he blew through it all. In fact, not only did he burn through his fortune with questionable purchases ranging from an array of luxury properties and cars to Siberian tigers and pigeons, but he also went into an additional $50 million in debt. Tyson himself claimed that it only took him around 15 or 16 years to spend over $500 million, and that he wasted too much time embracing all the wild things he could do because of his wealth. By 2004, Iron Mike Tyson was over $38 million in debt. It was like he was trying to go bankrupt. Tyson had few male figures in his life that he could look up to, since his father left him at a young age, creating a gap that D'Amato was able to fill. Tyson's mother died when he was only 16, and D'Amato became his legal guardian. Tyson's first taste for professional boxing came when he performed in the Junior Olympics, where he won gold medals 2 years in a row. He had his first professional fight at 18 and beat Hector Mercedes in the first round, a feat that Tyson would become known for. D'Amato passed away in 1985, leaving a void in Tyson's life that he could never fill. Tyson was devastated over the loss, which likely contributed to his struggles later in life. D'Amato's passing didn't slow down Tyson's career. He performed in a televised fight against Jesse Ferguson, where Tyson hit his opponent with an uppercut that broke his nose. He took on former world title challenger Marvis Frazier and beat him in 30 seconds. Soon, Tyson was the youngest heavyweight world champion and defended that status while winning even more titles. He became the first heavyweight to hold all three major belts at once. With his success came multi-million-dollar deals. Tyson signed an 8-fight contract with HBO for $27 million, and once that was finished, he signed a long-term $120 million contract with Showtime. Tyson was making huge amounts of money, but saw only some of those profits due to an arrangement with promoter/treasure troll inspiration Don King. King took a large chunk of his earnings, having been in a contract with Tyson that entitled King to 30% of the heavyweight champion's earnings, something illegal in Nevada. King allegedly added additional fees to his cut, taking up to 50% before sending a check to Tyson. Those fees included $100,000 per fight for King's wife and $50,000 per fight for King's sons. King's daughter was the Mike Tyson fan club president and received $1,000 weekly. Tyson's earnings were garnished by the IRS multiple times. On one occasion, he made $8 million in a 2004 fight, but the IRS took $6 million of those earnings, letting Tyson walk with only $2 million. Even with his money troubles, he still earned huge paychecks for his fight, endorsement deals, and other endeavors. Tyson's highest paid fight was in 2002 against Lennox Lewis, where he made $148 million. For many years, Tyson loved to enjoy himself and led an extravagant lifestyle. He was the center of many wild stories and was known for his infamous parties. Tyson invited 700 people to his 30th birthday party and spent $500,000 on the event. The guest list had many celebrities and high-profile people, including future U.S. President Donald Trump. Luxury cars were one of Tyson's passions, and he spent $6.3 million on vehicles alone. Through his lifetime, Tyson has owned over 100 cars, some of which were rare and very valuable. His extensive collection included a $720,000 Bentley Continental SC, a Lamborghini, a Hummer H2, and a Cadillac Escalade. And Mike wasn't the only one enjoying his wide array of vehicles. Tyson would often get calls from the police about friends getting pulled over for speeding in cars he forgot he owned. He was known to loan out cars and never even notice or care that they weren't returned. Tyson also loved spending money on real estate and owned high-end homes worth millions of dollars each. His Connecticut mansion had 21 rooms, a nightclub, and a casino. His home in Ohio had gold-plated furnishings, pools, and a basketball court. He owned a Las Vegas property that was 11,000 square feet that he completely remodeled. In the 90s, he purchased 3 Bengal white tigers, although when he later declared bankruptcy, Tyson was revealed to be spending over $8,000 a month for their care. It sounds like a lot, but hey, the dude wanted some big kitties. But Tyson's love for animals didn't end with his tigers. He loved pigeons from an early age and had kept them as pets ever since he was a teenager. One of his first altercations when he was 9 stemmed from a neighborhood bully's attempt at stealing one of Tyson's Tyson's pigeons from his living room. The bully punched the future heavyweight when Tyson tearfully begged for his pet back. According to Mike, at that particular time in his life, that bird was the only thing he loved. Sadly for the pigeon, it met its end in a particularly violent way at the hands of the bully. Sadly for the bully, that was Tyson's first time throwing a punch, and he quickly realized he had a taste for it. Tyson beat the daylights out of the kid. Once Tyson had the money, he treated himself to more pigeons and was finally in a position where nobody dared to harm them. He spent over $400,000 on his pigeons and exotic kitties. While some of Tyson's purchases were questionable, one of the more outlandish was a $2 million golden bathtub he bought for his first wife, 80s sitcom star Robin Givens. That beats Ben Affleck's $105,000 toilet seat he bought for Jennifer Lopez in the early 2000s. Tyson was a fearsome opponent, but generous with his fortune and was known to surprise strangers with expensive jewelry like $100,000 watches. Aside from his big purchases, Tyson had a large entourage that he paid to go everywhere with him. For one of his fights, he booked 52 rooms for the entire crew to travel with him, and had a guy named Crocodile, because why wouldn't his name be Crocodile, to stand behind him at news conferences dressed in fatigues and shouting guerrilla warfare, hand-to-hand combat. Tyson paid him $300,000. By 2004, Tyson was drowning in debt and had to declare bankruptcy, owing over $38 million. Of course, Mike didn't lose all of his money overnight. His elaborate purchases and penchant for the finer things in life contributed to the situation, but weren't the only factors. Tyson was married 3 times and has 7 biological children and considers himself a father to his second wife's daughter. As it turns out, kids and ex-wives are expensive, so a lot of his money ended up in his kids and ex-wives' pockets. He also dealt with many legal troubles, some of which were very high profile. Tyson's lawyers drained his accounts, costing him millions to keep his reputation and even avoid jail time. Mike was $23 million in debt when he parted with his lavish Connecticut mansion, ultimately selling it to rapper 50 Cent. Following the bankruptcy and legal issues, Tyson knew he had to make changes to rebuild his life and reputation. Mike admitted on a podcast that one of his pet tigers attacked a woman that trespassed in his house. He was shocked to see what his beloved animals were capable of and knew he should have never kept them in his home. Mike, that's what it took for you to realize that was a bad idea? A pivotal moment in his comeback was starring in the Hangover franchise. The first movie in the series was one of the top films of 2009 and a huge box office success. In the movie, a group of friends enjoys a bachelor party gone wrong, breaking into one of Tyson's properties and stealing a tiger. Fans were excited to see Tyson play himself in the hit movie, but the retired boxer wasn't happy with his performance. At first, Mike didn't realize what he was signing up for, not thinking that it was a serious movie that would develop such a strong following. At the time, he was battling his own demons, and his usage of a particular powdery substance meant he wasn't in the best mental or physical place to be in something so popular. He earned $100,000 for his role and starred in the second franchise installment in 2011. Tyson turned his life around when he stopped drinking alcohol and taking any substances that affected his mental state. He went as far as to eliminate meat and animal products from his diet, transitioning into veganism. Tyson said publicly that how he used to think and see things was his biggest problem, and that his party lifestyle made it worse but wasn't the root issue. Tyson made other cameos where he appeared in a Madonna track and starred in the movie IP Man 3. He had a 6-part docu-series on Animal Planet called Taking on Tyson, which focused on his pigeon racing endeavors. Spike Lee also partnered with Tyson for a popular one-man show titled Undisputed Truth. Tyson launched his podcast Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson, where he spoke candidly about his life and allowed fans to know the man behind the persona. In 2020, he returned to the ring for an 8-round exhibition alongside fellow great boxer Roy Jones Jr. The exhibition was a huge success, with many fans hoping to see one of the all-time greats make another return. Personal appearances are also a massive source of income for Tyson, and he charges $75,000 for 2 hours of his time. Tyson saw a business opportunity in the green rush happening in California that started after the passing of Proposition 64 in November 2016. He opened a 40-acre resort that would produce high-quality strains of the recreational plant and named it Tyson Ranch. Tyson Ranch featured 20 acres dedicated to growing the best product possible by giving growers complete control over their environment. On the other 20 acres, Tyson built a supply store, a factory for baked goods, an extraction facility, an amphitheater, and campgrounds and cabins. When Mike started construction in California City, located in Arizona, just kidding, it's north of Hollywood, Mayor Jennifer Wood praised Tyson for the jobs and in revenue the facility would create, and that some of the products he would grow would be for medicinal purposes. The Tyson Cultivation School was another part of Tyson Ranch, teaching the newest ways to produce the herb. Tyson Ranch neighbored Edwards Air Force Base, and one of the ranch's goals was treatment for members of the military who were suffering psychologically during and after service. The majority of the workers on the ranch were people who served in the military. While it generated a revenue of $900,000 monthly, just under $11 million a year, Tyson Ranch ultimately failed due to bad management. While it was a setback, Mike recently re-entered the business, moving shop to Colorado and producing his new line of fun plants dubbed Tyson 2.0. Tyson made headlines again in April 2022, stemming from an altercation during a flight from San Francisco to Miami. A fan on the plane spotted the retired boxer and asked to take a picture with him. Tyson obliged without showing any initial signs of frustration with the very enthusiastic and slightly inebriated young man. But when the fan sat beside Tyson and wouldn't stop talking in his ear, Tyson decided enough was enough. Told the fan to relax, but he wouldn't stop harassing Tyson. This was a strange decision. To us, when the man, who Evander Holyfield said was the hardest puncher he ever faced, tells you to leave him alone because you're annoying him, you do it. Or you get what's coming to you. Tyson stood up and gave the man what was coming to him, autographing his forehead with knuckle imprints. Tyson left the plane immediately after. The San Francisco Police Department reviewed video footage of the incident and decided that Tyson wouldn't face criminal charges. They based their decision on the fan's behavior before the altercation and both parties' requests that charges not be filed. Just a month before the situation on the plane, Tyson was attending a comedy show in Hollywood when a man challenged Tyson to a fight. The comedy show host told the man to leave, who responded by producing a weapon. However, the potential altercation ended far differently than anyone could have predicted when Tyson embraced the man, who never followed through on his threats. It was a peaceful end to what could have been a violent night. Despite his financial troubles, Tyson's current net worth is $10 million. It might be dramatically less than it was during the height of his career, but after years of setbacks, the heavyweight boxer has rebuilt his life and come back stronger than ever. Click to watch one of these next videos. Let us know in the comments section what's the worst thing you've ever bought.